So let's talk about the ways that we can change the text and the styles on your text in WordPress posts and pages. The first way to do this is to use the font family property. So let's say in the font family we have dad, we have mom, and then we have kid brother, okay? And we'll have kid sister as well. So those are the members of the family: dad, mom, brother, sister. How a font family works is it's like if you would try to call the font family on the phone. What you would do is you'd say, hey, is dad there? And if dad is not there, you would say, all right, well, is mom there? Well, if mom's not there too, maybe mom and dad are both at work, then you say, well, is brother there? He's the oldest. I want to talk to him. All right, well, brother's not there either because he's off playing video games at a friend's house or something. And is sister there? Sister has to water the plants and feed the dog, so sister's there. And this is how a font family works in WordPress content as well. It looks for the first font in the list, and if it doesn't find it, it looks for the second font, and if it doesn't find it, it looks for the third, and so on. There are 3 different types of fonts, main font categories at least, in font families. And this is the serif, the sans-serif, and the Monospace. So those are the 3 types of families. What we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how to apply this font family to this text. What we're going to need to do is go to the text. So I'm going to click on that. Now, as you can see, there are some crazy stuff happening here in the code. So this is the code of your content. If you usually look at visual, that's fine, but text, just so you know, is where all of your code lives that actually makes your text look good. And what we can do here is we've got an LI that's surrounding that first line of text. So what we're going to do here is to apply a font family to this line item, this line of text. We go inside this tag right here, okay? So this tag is around it, so that's going to mark up that line of text. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a style attribute. So what we do is type style equals, and then use double quotes, 2 of them. I like to close off the double quotes before I actually write what's in the middle, because then I know that my job is done for me, and then I don't have to wonder if I actually added the end, and it's really easy to forget. So style equals double quotes, and go in the middle of the double quotes, and what we're going to type is font dash family, like that, and shift colon, so the double dots there, put a colon, and then space, and I like to end the style first with a semicolon, and then I'll go back in the middle here and actually put in what I want to appear there. And what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this font family all the way to here. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to click right inside. So between the colon and the semicolon to end it. So you're basically saying font family, and this is another way to say equals. All you do is paste that in there. So that would be Control V if you want to paste it in. Now I'm just going to format this a little bit so it's easier for us to see what's happening. So now what we have is we have a style equals font family. And then the colons tell it, hey, I'm about to tell you what this is. And then a space just for readability. And then we have these 4 font family members in here. We have a semicolon at the end, and then this ends the whole style, if you see that right here. Now we have a problem to start with, and that is we can't have double quotes inside these double quotes. So let's change these to single quotes. Okay, so that has single quotes. So on the outside we have double quotes, and on the very outside we have double quotes on both ends. You see that? So double quotes here, double quotes there, and that is what is inside the style. So this is the whole style tag right there. And font family colon, then we have this font defined. So that, let's say that's dad, okay? So that's our dad from up here. And then book Antigua, or Antigua, is mom, okay? Then Palatino does not have single quotes at all, and that would be brother. And serif here at the end is sister, okay? Now, the reason these have single quotes, this one and this one, isn't because they're a special name of a font. It's because they have 2 words separated by a space. And because of that, We want the computer to know that when it's trying to figure out which font this is all one word, okay? So that's what the single quotes do, is this basically tells the computer this is one font name. It just happens to have a space, because spaces are usually important, like here in code, spaces mean something. And so the space that's in between this word is actually part of that word. That's what it needs to know. And then same here, this has a space between the words, and so it needs to know that's part of the word. And then the last thing we have in this line is serif. Now the special thing about serif is that's kind of a fallback. It's kind of a default for the font in here, the font family. So sister, who's always home and has to feed the dog all the time and water all the plants, she has to be there because it's her job to not ever be gone. So serif is something on the computer that it always knows what a serif is. So if for some reason the computer, when it's trying to make your web page show up correctly in your browser, let's say Chrome or Firefox or Safari, if it's trying to find one of these fonts and it can't find all three of them, let's say everybody's out of the house, mom and dad and brother are all off at a soccer game or something, then sister has to pick up the slack and say, well, all right, I'll feed the dog and when nobody else is here. And that's serif. So that's the default, so that we have something that tells this text what it is. That's what this fallback at the end does. That's what serif is there for. So let's go apply a sans serif to this line, okay? Go back to text, and we will go here again, and we will style, and then equals, and then our double quotes, okay? Now, instead of having to change these to single quotes, these are all singular words, so we can just copy that by hitting Control-C or Command-C on a Mac, and we will paste that in here. Okay, but now we can't forget to put in what this actually is, and that's font family. So font dash family, double dots, which is the colon, and then space to make it readable. And you don't have to put the semicolon at the end, but it's preferred if you do. Now we have style equals, and we have the double quotes on either end, and then in the middle is actually the font family. And so font family colon is telling you, okay, I'm about to tell you what the font family is. We have dad, which is Tahoma. We have Geneva, which is mom. And then we have brother. Now in this case, there's no sister in this family. It's just brother. And you can have as many of these as you want. You can make a giant long string. There can be 48 kids if you want to. It's fine. But in this case, we only have 3. This is kind of a standard way to write a sans serif font family. So Tahoma is first. If it doesn't find that, it goes to Geneva. And if Geneva's not there too, which is kind of unheard of, then sans serif will take over on any weird computer or browser that doesn't have these 2 installed already. So now if we go back to Visual yet again, we will see that this font looks very different. Now, if you're wondering what a serif is, you can kind of see that there's like a thinning of the strokes. Sans serif, this is very clean. There's none of those on here. Serif has a taper to it. Sans serif doesn't have a taper. All of the letters are the same all the way through. Now, monospace we haven't done yet, so let's go back to text, and we will yet again add a style to here. And add our font family, colon, space, and what we will do is we will bring this in again, Control-C or Command-C on a Mac, and then Control-V or Command-V on a Mac. And we'll put the semicolon at the end just for good measure. And we can't have Lucinda, or whatever her name is, being double quotes. So let's put our single quotes in, so that we know that the space is part of that word. And so we have Lucida console, we have Monaco, and we have Monospace. So we have mom, and then we have brother, and we have sister, okay? So in the font family, there are those 3 members, and then we have both double quotes and style, which will style our text that's between here. So we'll go back to Visual, and you'll see the difference in a Monospace font. What this does is, instead of it being different thinness and thickness like a serif, instead of it being the same thickness all the way through like a sans serif, Monospace doesn't deal with either of those. What Monospace does is it gives you a font that makes every letter in the word has the same spacing. So that's why all of these letters have the same width. Now it looks a little funny because the L is a thinner letter. And in this word, if you see, the L is very thin. There's not a lot of space around it. This, the L has the same width. If you look, the E has the same width as the L, but when you look at it, it kind of looks like there's extra space in there, and there is. What this is good for is when you're trying to write code, because code needs to have the same spacing all the way through to be a lot more readable so you can tell what you're looking at. So that's what a monospaced font is for. Anyway, that's the basics.